All right, so one of the really nice things to have with you as you're driving around the winter is kind of a winter car kit of things that might be useful to you, to get around, or certainly if you do get stuck or something like that. So this is just one that I carry around because it was easy and I picked it up and it was already made. There's a lot of them that are available on the market. Certainly just hop on the internet and look around. But also it's very easy to make your own. There's really only a few things that you really do want. It's nice to have an extra little windshield scraper. It's nice to have a blanket. This one's got a small folding shovel in it. There's some other happy stuff in here. There's a flashlight. If you do carry a flashlight, keep an eye on batteries. If you have the same kit in your trunk for a few years, maybe you never use a flashlight, that's wonderful, but the batteries can go bad. So, maybe every year just throw some new batteries in it, or throw just a couple of batteries in the bag with everything else. And you're good to go. Some of the other stuff that's really nice to have, emergency blanket. Obviously, if you're stuck off the road somewhere, or you're just trapped in a snowstorm at some point, that could be kind of a lifesaver type of deal. The same thing, hand warmers. But similar to batteries, if you keep hand warmers around, check these out because there are dates on these as well. So if you do leave the same one in your trunk for a few years, these may go bad, or certainly if it's been sitting on the shelf somewhere, you never know, and you don't want to have to need a hand warmer or something like that and then realize that it's out of date. So just look at that sort of thing, some fresh batteries, always good to have, like I said. Some safety matches, the little T candles here. A lot of people have been saying that, if you can't continue running your car, maybe you're on the side of the road, you've run out of gas, so you can't run the heat, or you don't want to risk running out of fuel. One of these little T candles supposedly will keep the inside of your vehicle at a reasonable temperature with the windows closed, and it won't just burn up all the oxygen and kill you. So those are certainly nice to have. This is just a little stick-on kind of emergency beacon. Probably not really as good as you'd want, but again, if you're halfway off the road and you've been running your flashers and your batteries go dead in a snowstorm, you really want to be visible, because the worst case scenario, you're halfway off the road, your battery goes flat, a plow truck comes along and just runs into your car and knocks you off the road and kills somebody. So try and be visible, whatever you might have to do. A little first aid kit in this one. Never a bad idea, always good to have. There's certainly some stuff that's not in this kit that you'd probably want. So if you purchase one of these kits, take a look at what's actually in it, before you set off and throw the thing in your trunk for the winter. One thing that I'd certainly recommend in here would be a tow strap. It's nothing better than going off the road, getting stuck in a snowbank, having a tow strap and being able to just flag somebody down, have them pull you out of the ditch, and you can go about your merry business instead of being trapped there and waiting for AAA or some friendly guy with a tow strap to come along and pull you out. If it were me, again, maybe road flares. Nothing wrong with having some road flares around. There's a few other things that you might decide that you need in here. Maybe a can of dry gas or something like that if you start getting a lot of condensation in your fuel system. You only really need dry gas when the temperature is fluctuating from cold to hot and cold to hot, and if you notice you're getting like a lot of condensation, especially inside your car or anything like that, the same thing's happening in your fuel tank. So that's how you get water in your gas. You don't need dry gas in the middle of the winter time. You need it in the fall, and you need it in the spring, and you might need some if you get a warm spell in January. You're getting that condensation inside of your gas tank. That's what's getting the water in there. So as a rule of thumb, keep your fuel tank as full as you can. When that's the case in the fall and the spring, if you get a midwinter thaw, keep your fuel tank full and you won't have to worry about it so much. There's less space for that condensation to happen in, but certainly having some dry gas in here might work out well for you. You know, we've talked about tire chains and stuff like that in the past on the East Coast. If you've got a good aggressive snow tire, you shouldn't really need tire chains, but don't rule it out if you live out west. There's some roads you just can't travel. They won't even let you on the road unless you have tire chains. So that's another option. You know, you can go as crazy as you want with something like this, but certainly even just go ahead and buy this one for $19.99 wherever the heck I found it, and you've got most of the stuff that you should need should you get into trouble driving around in the wintertime.